I was blessed to be able to work with amazing talent, guys that had great genetics, but they also had even greater potential because of the fact they were so disciplined. They were very coachable athletes, but they had an inner drive. And I've been just amazed by how much somebody who with genetics sometimes actually becomes a little bit, in some ways, lazier. And then you have those certain few that become legendary because they take their greatness to a whole legendary level because of discipline and inner drive. And I've been lucky to be able to work with some of the absolute legends in the sport. Well, I think all in all, what it did was it allowed me to kind of create a remote system so that a lot of athletes could use a system that helps with intensity without the ability for me to be there. And then we shared that with a lot of magazines because back in the day, there was a lot of magazine articles.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were able to utilize the FST-7 method to help their intensity, even if they don't have a training partner. And I feel like many people throughout the world with all the videos and content of the last 20, 25 years have been able to really show that they can be able to utilize this method to help them with their intensity, even if they're training alone. I think bodybuilding's changed a lot, but I think there's so much more information now than ever because we have things like YouTube and Instagram and you have TikTok. So many levels above what we had in the past where it was just Arnold's book of Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding and magazines, and that's all there was. Now there's a wealth of information. So I think it is amazingly more just rich with information. Absolutely. As you can see, the opportunities, you could be an athlete and not compete and still do well just by being able to provide content, but then you can compete, and then now the money and the prize money has grown so much recently that is unimaginable about how much of a difference there was between just 25 years ago and now. My retirement from coaching only comes at the highest level of the Olympia level. What I'm doing now is I'm giving back by being able to really go on my platforms through, we just hit 1 million subscribers on TikTok on my personal channel.
1 million.
I'm sorry, TikTok's 1.5 million, 1 million on YouTube. And so everyone knows YouTube is very difficult to get to 1 million subscribers. So I'm very excited to be able to do between my podcast and being able to also do a lot of content, come around, fly around the world to be able to be with the brands like Panada. And I can be able to really discuss with not only athletes, but also other trainers that want to follow in my footsteps and other footsteps of other trainers around the world and make a livelihood being able to do this. So I'm just excited because I feel like there's so much evolution right now. First, I was a customer of Panada.
Yeah.
So what happened was I used Panada in the gyms. Panada, I remember the first time I ever heard the word Panada was the 1992 Mr. Olympia, when Panada was one of the main sponsors and was giving the Sandow to Dorian Yates in Helsinki, Sweden. And, in Helsinki, I believe it's in Sweden. Or it's Finland.
Finland,
Finland.
No problem.
Yes, I haven't been there yet, so I have to go. But in Helsinki, Finland, and it was 1992 Mr. Olympia, and I remember we had, Mr. Panada, Rudy, going out there and giving out the first place trophy to Dorian Yates. That was his first Mr. Olympia win. And always seeing Panada. Then when I was traveling to Europe, I would see the machines and get to use them, and not so much in the States. And then so as I was able to see more of them in Europe, then it was great to be able to see that they were starting to create new lines, new things, and then being able to try some of those. Then I was very excited with the latest machines several years ago, and I decided to build my own personal gym with Panada. And then we started to speak about putting together my gym, to purchasing equipment, I flew to Apiro. I was able to hand pick the pieces after using all of the pieces in the showroom. And I picked 90% of the pieces.
Wow.
And most of them that I picked were plate loaded. And I was able to do everything that I wanted to do in regards to the color, the styling, the seats. It was like picking an exotic car, you know? And so, and again, this is, I consider Panatta the Ferrari of machines. And the biomechanics felt so good where I felt it on the muscle, not on the joints. So I was very, very interested in building my whole gym with Panatta. So we sat down, I put the order sheet together, I wrote a very big check. You know, everybody thinks I got my gym for some, you know, for free. No, I was a customer first. Then what happened was they shipped everything over, and it felt like a lifetime because, you know, you had to wait to get it built in Italy, ship it to the United States.
Wow, yeah.
They had to drive it from the port, and every day I was just waiting like a kid for Christmas.
For Christmas.
Yes. And then when they started putting my gym together, it was absolutely amazing. So I got to train all of my clients, my celebrity clients and friends that came in, and everyone who's used it has absolutely loved it because they feel the muscle and they feel the tension on the muscle and not on the joints. And that's what makes Panatta different. It's so smooth, and everyone says it's like butter, right? Like where other machines, they tend to have these flat spots and they feel like you feel the tension, but then it releases. Where Panatta, the biomechanics, because he studies it, Rudy really studies
Yeah.
the biomechanics so well, and that's why it's known as the Ferrari standard of machines. And that's why I became a believer. Then as we were talking more and more about new machines and some ideas and me working on the machines on a daily basis in my own gym, and then I constantly said, hey, let's do I give you some feedback, and he took some of the feedback and was able to utilize it and started updating a couple of the machines. So yeah, so that's the whole story and how the relationship progressed from a customer to actually somebody that's partnered now with Panatta. All the time. I'm on the phone with Rudy on text message, with Edo, his son, and we're at the trade shows together, trying out the new machines, but also I go into the factory now. So I will be back in the factory this summer. I will be there. And I even take my family. So yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like a combination of our families together. So
Right.
yes, it's been a great feeling because again, this is not a gigantic corporation. This is something that comes from the heart. 2025 is the year of the comeback for me. In 2019 was the last time I was in FIBO before the pandemic. After the pandemic, we all thought that, you know, maybe this was never going to happen again. And it was very exciting to see as things started to progress, that the expos were growing, FIBO was growing. And then everyone called me and says, FIBO is back, you need to come back. And so that's why this year I'm back with the team here. And they asked me to come. It's been amazing. The weather has been absolutely gorgeous. I've been to FIBO where it was snow on the ground, and right now it's about 70 degrees outside in Fahrenheit. And it's unbelievably beautiful, and its crowds are going next level. And the communication, because of all the content we're shooting for YouTube and for all Instagram, people are coming over and seeing my gym, talking about the machines, the favorite machines, the biomechanics, how they're used. So I'm very excited to be able to be at FIBO, and you can be interacting with the crowd.
Thank you very much.